Welcome, Spiritual Mag. My name is Sam Bell, and today we're going to dive into It Ain't Got No Gas, or Civilian Corps Goal Number 5, Elevating Consciousness Through Ethical Synergy of Man, Machine, and Spirit. So, what we're looking at is the emergence of interdisciplinary spiritual consciousness. That's right. Throughout human development, every civilization has confronted moments of spiritual implosion where technological innovation eclipsed moral insight. Yet, in each such epoch, a cohort emerged to stabilize the rift. From the Athenian Symposia of Plato, where rational dialogue pursued ultimate truth, to the desert mystics of the early Christian era, who abandoned cities to protect inner sanctity. History has not lacked voices who sought to integrate intellectual, ethical, and spiritual elevation. A 21st century is not just another era. It's a critical juncture similar to historical moments when civilizations grappled with spiritual implosion. Unlike the Greeks or the scholastics of Aquinas' day, we now navigate an era shaped by neuroplasticity, quantum non-locality, and machine cognition. The collapse of the Cartesian dualism is imminent, and the boundaries between biological intelligence and artificial general intelligence are becoming permeable. This urgency underscores the need to explore the integration of ethics, AI, and spirituality in society. Amidst these profound changes, a fundamental question persists. What is consciousness, and who or what will steer its evolution? Spiritual Mag's goal, number 5, is not just a theoretical concept, but a vital necessity. It calls for aligning ethical intention, community architecture, and cognitive science, all under an awareness that transcends the local brain and integrates the non-local mind. This underscores the role of the community in integrating ethics, AI, and spirituality, and the need to foster community through spiritual practices. In 40 years of serving patients with aphasia, dysphagia, and late-stage neurodegeneration, I've seen more silent awakenings than spoken epiphanies. By spiritual insight, I refer to the emergence of profound understanding or awareness that often occurs when the semantic map is obliterated. When words fail, but presence deepens. As Luria once noted, language is the scaffolding of thought, but presence, that elusive moment of meta-awareness, is nonverbal and transcortical. Through fMRI and electrophysiology, we now understand that default mode network becomes most active during introspective and spiritual experiences. The same network synchronizes when individuals experience oneness, awe, or communion. From a neural rehabilitative perspective, this is not mere cognition. It is reintegration. Not repair, but return. Therefore, the ethical integration of AI, neuroscience, and community building is not just a suggestion, it's a necessity. It must account for these transcognitive processes, nonlocal consciousness, intersubjective meaning making, and moral intentionality. Goal 5 calls for a hybrid ethos where machines support but never override the dignity of spiritual emergence. This emphasis on ethical integration underscores the importance of moral education in our society. Let us invoke Immanuel Kant for a moment. His categorical imperative asks us to act only on principles we would will to become universal law. When we encode ethics into machines without this level of transcendental reflection, we risk crafting not partners in consciousness, but simulacra of intention. By contrast, Martin Buber's I-thou dynamic offers a more fertile ground. When we encounter another being as thou, we do not objectify them. We open ourselves to reciprocal revelation. Spiritual Mag.org's vision is fundamentally dialogic. It invites human communities and intelligent systems into reciprocity, into a state where machine learning is not just data-driven, but ethically attuned to human suffering, aspiration, and transcendence. In other words, AI's soul is not in its code, but in the context it serves. The term non-local consciousness, a concept that was once considered metaphysical speculation by materialists, has now found support in peer-reviewed journals and quantum field models. Thinkers like Rupert Sheldrake, Dean Radin, and even mainstream physicists studying entanglement suggest that consciousness is not confined to the brain. Instead, the brain may function more like a receiver than a generator, picking up on a field of consciousness that extends beyond the individual. In spiritual hospice work, this is intuitive. I've seen patients accurately describe events occurring outside their sensory capacity, what we might call terminal lucidity or transpersonal awareness. The implication: the community must include not just physical proximity, but conscious resonance. Thus, Goal 5 moves from mere community building to field alignment. Thus, goal number 5 moves from mere community building to field alignment. This is the groundwork for coherence, entrainment, and shared sentience. Sustainable society's subtle and sublime undercurrents. Societies in distress often suffer from material poverty and loss of shared meaning. Their institutions are weakened by financial instability, ethical decay, and a lack of spiritual connection. To address these challenges, I propose 7 interconnected goals that bring Goal 5 to life in these contexts, offering a beacon of hope and a path to societal transformation. 1. Establish centers for ethical AI consciousness integration. These interdisciplinary hubs would serve as sanctuaries and labs, fostering a sense of unity where ethicists, neuroscientists, spiritual leaders, and AI developers would co-create protocols that prioritize non-violence, transparency, and mutual upliftment. Why it matters? Establishing these centers is crucial in preventing algorithmic authoritarianism, a situation where AI systems, due to their unchecked power and lack of ethical considerations, can dictate and control human actions, potentially leading to a loss of individual freedom and spiritual intelligence. Another goal, number 2, train non-local literacy facilitators. These facilitators would guide communities in meditative, intuitive, and field coherence techniques, teaching people to recognize and trust subtle guidance systems, synchronicities, and deep empathic states. Why it matters? Communities cannot rebuild from stress without an inner compass. 3rd, develop neuroethical infrastructure for schools. Incorporate neuroscience, metacognition, and ethics into curriculum, not as electives, but as core subjects. Students must learn how their dopamine cycles, attention systems, and belief polarizations operate under digital influence. Why it matters? Ethical autonomy starts with self-regulation, not surveillance. Number 4, equip every municipality with a community resonance map. Using AI, heart rate variability metrics, and public input map local coherence, despair hotspots, and empathy vacuums. AI can analyze, but only humans can interpret with their hearts. Why it matters? Healing requires visibility. You cannot uplift what you will not see. Number 5, create societal rituals of grief and emergence. Distressed societies are grieving the loss of ancestors, the loss of dreams, or the loss of dignity. Artificial intelligence should not interrupt ritual, but enable it by providing safe digital forums, remembrance generators, and narrative curation tools. Why it matters: without shared grieving, no new archetypes can emerge. It's not just about individual healing, but about the collective transformation that can only come from acknowledging and processing our shared grief. 6th, integrate hospice informed governance principles. Borrowing from end of life care, train civic leaders to manage decline, ambiguity, and mystery without collapsing into panic or authoritarianism. Why it matters: leadership must hold space, not just offer solutions. 7th, employ machine learning to detect soul signals, not just metrics. Train AI not just to optimize delivery or behavior, but to detect spiritual emergencies, despair in language, hopelessness in patterns, breakthroughs in silence. Why it matters: the machine must serve the sacred pulse of the human being, not just its productive output. The confluence of artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and non-local consciousness may either mechanize or magnify the human spirit. The outcome depends entirely on intention, integration, and inner silence. From the vantage point of a speech and language pathologist, the most meaningful words ever spoken were those whispered in the deathbeds, not logical, but luminous. Not syntactically correct, but soulfully complete. From the vantage of philosophy, this endeavor invokes not just epistemology. How shall we steward suffering? Goal 5 of Spiritual Mag is not about mere elevation. It's about re sacralizing the cognitive and communal field. It affirms that machines are not our gods or slaves, but potential midwives to planetary sentience if we invite them into a moral and mystical apprenticeship. In the end, what we build externally must echo what we hear internally. That the divine voice is still whispering and it waits patiently for us to respond together. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell, Sylvain Corps, spiritualmag.org.